Good evening. The terrifying moment two men threatened shop workers with a huge kitchen knife in Brighton has been captured on camera. The raid happened at the Co-op store on Old London Road in Brighton. Staff were bundled into a back office as another was forced to open the till. The men got away with £2,500, as Malcolm Shaw now explains.
It's some of the most detailed footage captured on CCTV, reminiscent perhaps of a film, but all too real. Helpless supermarket staff held up in a Knifepoint robbery.
Absolutely very terrifying, any situation like that, especially when there are weapons involved and people have shown that they are prepared to get them out, brandish them and threaten them with you. But we are yet to identify those two suspects in the video, and we're very keen to do so.
As the footage unfolds, the two masked men can clearly be seen threatening workers at the Co-op store in Brighton not long before Christmas with a large kitchen knife. They then usher them to the back of the shop before demanding money from the safe, finally grabbing more cash from the tills before running away. The two men ran off northwards along Old London Road, escaping with about £2,500 in cash. They're both described as white with Irish accents and were wearing black hooded tops. The robbery here is now being linked to a second 4 days later, on the 20th of December, committed by a man wearing a Santa hat. During that incident at a Co-op store in nearby Saltdean, a female member of staff was assaulted, suffering several broken ribs. The thief stole £2,000 before getting into a car believed to be a silver Ford Focus hatchback. Police have today renewed their appeal for witnesses and information regarding both crimes. Staff in the first on December the 16th were unhurt but understandably shaken by their ordeal. Malcolm Shaw, ITV News, Brighton.
A woman from Hampshire has died after being tortured at her home in South Africa. Susan Howarth, who was 64 and originally from Southsea, was tied up and shot by armed raiders. Her ashes will be flown to Southsea to be buried with her parents. 3 men have been charged after a large cannabis factory was found in a former nuclear bunker near Salisbury. Several thousand cannabis plants with a street value of £1 million were discovered on former MOD land in Chilmark. They'll appear in court tomorrow. A 28-year-old man has been arrested after a man was stabbed in the centre of Southampton. The victim, in his 20s, was rushed to hospital after the incident at the junction of Carlton Crescent and Carlton Place at lunchtime on Wednesday. Now, a courageous young father whose life changed because of a devastating infection has embarked on the latest stage in his fight to lead a normal life. Alex Lewis from Stockbridge in Hampshire had to have all 4 limbs amputated and part of his face removed in order to save his life. Now a permanent makeup artist has offered to give Alex his mouth back, as Kerry Swain explains.
Technique, which is basically, it's just dots. Yeah. So all we're doing now, by adding dots in there, we're just building up colour.
Alex Lewis joked to me that he assumed he'd get his first tattoo while drunk after a night out. His sense of humour has carried him through some of the darkest days a man can endure. This is how Alex used to look. Then, at the age of 33, a strep A infection, which usually causes nothing more than a sore throat, robbed him of all 4 limbs and disfigured his face so badly he frightened his own son.
He wouldn't hug me, he certainly wouldn't kiss me. And we had a long process of initially it was very sad for me and equally as sad for him.
Alex has travelled to Harley Street hoping his face can be improved. A plastic surgeon rebuilt his lips using skin from his shoulder. Now he has an appointment with a leading cosmetic and medical tattoo artist. When television presenter Katie Piper had acid thrown in her face, it was Karen Betts who helped restore her looks by tattooing eyebrows, eyes and lips. Celebrities pay a fortune for Karen's skill, but she's treating Alex free of charge.
And I'm going to blend that outside, and then I'm going to work with the colour what you've got underneath here, because I can see all your lip shape, which is under here. I just knew that I needed to help Alex. So needed to give him his mouth back. I just saw the story about you wanted to be able to kiss your little boy. Yeah, and I just was like, oh, that would touch me. I think this colour's looking really good.
Alex will visit Karen every month for a year. How hard has the facial disfigurement been for, a previously very good-looking man?
It was certainly the hardest part. The amputations, we understood. The facial disfigurement visually was the one that everyone saw first, and it was the one that my son struggled with the most. I think for me, and I think for Sam, it's important we get it done, but I think for Sam to then hopefully see his dad of what he can remember prior to all this happening, I think that's really important.
A little bit of your 5-day-old shadow.
The NHS saved Alex's life, but he's battling to raise hundreds of thousands of pounds to ensure a quality of life. He needs artificial limbs not available on the NHS. Raising money is a constant concern. Grateful that the hope of a more normal-looking face comes without an expensive price ticket. Kerry Swain, ITV News.
He is incredible, and you can find out more about Alex's journey on our website. Just head to itv.com/Meridian. In other news, a car carrier with 21 crew on board has caught fire near Southampton. It started just before 4 o'clock this morning when the boat was in the channel. The ship turned back and is anchored off the Isle of Wight. Onboard systems put out the blaze, and the damage is being assessed before the ship can return. Meanwhile, firefighters were called to a lorry fire in Winchester this afternoon. It caught alight in Eastern Lane, outside the fire station itself. Luckily, no one was injured. And finally tonight, it's Cup final weekend. Southampton take on Manchester United at Wembley. But can they take home the trophy? Andrew Pate has our report.
It's been nearly 40 years since Southampton last played a major cup final at Wembley, so the fans are making the most of it. Back in 1979, the Saints lost the League Cup final to Nottingham Forest, despite taking the lead. And a goal! This time the team are going out with just one thing on their minds.
There is a saying in Portuguese that is, finals you don't play them, you win them. So I think this is the mentality we should go into the game. We need to know that we gave everything inside the pitch. This is the feeling I will be leaving at Wembley for sure.
In '79, Southampton were up against Brian Clough, the manager who called himself Old Big Ed. On Sunday, they faced the manager who calls himself the Special One.
Jose Mourinho has shown a real liking for this competition in his managerial career, so hopefully we can actually stop him from getting his first trophy at Manchester United. Yeah, by all means, if he wants to go and win another trophy, that's great, but yeah, if he can let us win this one for now.
I think Manchester United are going to really have to kind of check themselves this time, do you know what I mean? Because we are going to come correct, in my opinion, and you can hold me to this. But I think we're going to have a really good day. Do you know what I mean? If we play the way that I've seen them play in moments throughout the season, yeah, Manchester United are going to have some troubles.
This time, the 32,000 supporters going think their journey home will be more enjoyable.
I remember when they won the FA Cup in '76, I was 11, and I remember watching them and no one thought they could beat Man United then, and they did, and it was amazing. So I'm full of hope.
On the way back, it'd be great. Because they get on the bridges when we win, don't they? All the way down the motorway. So.
No luck for Laurie McMenemy then, but he remains the only Southampton manager to win a major trophy, the FA Cup in '76. Could Claude Puel join him by beating Manchester United again on Sunday?
Let's hope so. Now, what does the weekend weather have in store? With all the details tonight, here is Simon Parkin.
From sleet to the slopes, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Good evening. Well, you probably don't need your bed socks overnight tonight, but through the weekend there will be a bit of cold weather and it probably won't ever look quite as nice as this. Certainly a fair bit of cloud around, some patchy rain at times and some strong winds. But don't get me wrong, there'll be some dry weather too. Various weather fronts coming our way as we head through the next few days. And well, it stays unsettled as we move into next week. Low pressure very much in charge, and Monday looks like it's going to be quite a showery day with some of those showers heavy and blustery. For tonight, the winds whipping up a bit and also some patchy light rain pushing in too. Nothing too major rain-wise, but those winds gusting at around 30-35 miles an hour along the coast. Keeps us frost-free though, with temperatures down to around 5 or 6 degrees, and it will be a grey start to tomorrow. Awful lot of cloud to get us going. Still quite windy as we head through the morning. The light patchy rain starts to spread in. It perhaps turns a bit more persistent as we get towards the end of the day. And the temperatures are going at least in the right direction, 9-10 degrees, but it won't feel mild because of the strength of that wind, particularly if you're near the sea. And then Sunday, we should get away with a dry start, mostly cloudy, few bright spells, but some rain later.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
It's not looking great, is it? Wet and windy weekend. Oh well, and on that note, we are back tomorrow just after 4 o'clock. Any updates will be on our website. But from me and from all of us here on the Late Team, thanks very much for your company. Good night.